Good evening and welcome to Oxsports Unleashed, Series 3, Episode 17, live from Oxford Downs Cricket Club. Thanks for joining us on this quite balmy Thursday evening with a bit of higher temperatures. Wherever you are, in your hot tubs, your jacuzzis, or even in the Black Horse in Stanlake, waiting for our studio guest in anticipation, Andrew Rennie will be joining us shortly, talking about fives. Stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about another sport that's played within Oxfordshire. So stay tuned for that, because I'm looking forward to catching up with Andrew and all the normal events that we have through the show, as we normally do on a Thursday night. Colin, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to, we've got a clip with talking to the Killington Club Secretary about the trials and tribulations of getting a game of football on this year. We've also got some announcements about a new youth team initiative too, which is combining about 3 different clubs to get a pathway for youth to go through to that. Includes coaching as well, so really good news from Killington Football Club. Midweek special as well, more news from Chinner. I think they've had a little bit of a blip recently in their form. And a packed show as usual, including fixture focus with Patrick Lock. Everything you've got to look forward to this coming weekend in all matters football in Oxfordshire. So. Which will be
fantastic. Probably a good chance for me to say anything you want to send to us, any clips, any interviews, any photographs, any new sports that you're involved with and you'd like us to showcase on Oxsports Unleashed, please do send it to us to that email address at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com at the bottom of your screens there. We'd love to hear from you. And like I say, with the new sport we're showcasing tonight, any other sport that you want us to highlight on this programme, please do get in contact. Fantastic last week, the engagement from Ardley and Kidlington football clubs and the interviews and goal footage there. So thank you ever so much to both those clubs for your engagement. It is really appreciated because it helps our programme with a little bit more content and obviously going further afield. We thank you for your input. It's greatly appreciated. So that'll take us to our first port of call tonight, and Patrick Lock's excellent, I'll say excellent because he's behind the camera.
Cut us off.
Excellent goal show from around our region from last weekend. Take it away, Locksmith.
There are goals from 3 of our clubs this week, as Oxford City, Didcot Town and Ardley United all picked up wins on Saturday. It was a must-win game for Ross Jenkins' Oxford City against a side 6 points above them in the table. City started well, and 12 minutes in, a long ball forwards from Josh Ashby found Josh Parker on the edge of the box. He slid in Tom Scott, who controlled brilliantly to slot home and put his side ahead. Kings Lynn levelled after the break, but 10 minutes later the Hoops regained the lead. Jack Burns' run down the left found Tom Scott in the box. Birmingham loanee O'Shea Ellis timed his run to perfection to smash home for his first City goal and record a much-needed win for his side in their fight for survival. Despite losing last weekend, Didcot Town are free scoring as they still scored 4 in that game. Tiger Hall is responsible for many of these goals that Didcot are scoring, and when he was slotted through on the hour, there was little doubt about where the ball was ending up. In the net. His hat-trick in the 6-4 defeat last weekend was his first for Didcot, and he's kept up this form this weekend. He made it 5 goals in his last 2 matches as he was left unmarked at the far post for the simplest of tap-ins to double his side's lead heading into the final 15 minutes. The scoring was completed in the 4th added minute at the end of the game. This break saw Didcot fly forwards before the ball was cut back. The shot went in and was saved, but straight into the path of Dylan Conlon, who slotted home to secure a comfortable win for Jamie Heapy's side. Ardley United featured on the live show last week, and on Saturday picked up an impressive win against British Airways to keep up their promotion hopes. The visitors were undone by their own corner, and George Calmedo flew up the pitch to beat the defender to the ball, before slotting home to secure that important 1-0 win for Mark Massingham's side. As always, head over to Spotify for the latest episode of the Lock Ryde Oxfordshire Football Roundup podcast, taking a look at all levels of football across the county. A new episode is available to listen each week. For now, however, let's head back to the studio for some more Oxsports Unleashed.
Our thanks there to Patrick Lock's excellent, I have to say it, excellent roundup of the goals from last weekend. Brilliant clips there. And again, thank you to anyone who provides those clips for us, but great information there from last weekend. Well, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that Colin has vacated the hot seat, and I've been joined by Fives player Andrew Rennie. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. I always like when we've got a studio guest to get into it a little bit. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and your sporting prowess, if you like.
Brilliant. No, thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here. So I mainly grew up around London area and Watford area, where I went to school and learnt to play fives, and then moved to the Witney area about 5 years ago, and don't play as much as I used to, but did really enjoy playing for most of my life up in Hertfordshire and London, and still play occasionally on a Monday night here, but so enjoy it, enjoyed playing a lot. Used to play for a team that did quite well up in London, and we managed to win Division 1 of the National League about in 2000, and it was either 14 or 15, I think we won Div 1. Personally, I managed to, very fortunately, have a very good partner, because it is a double sport, so I had a good partner, and we managed to win the Under-25 Nationals in 7 years ago now, and that's my probably the highlight of my sporting career, was winning that one, as well as a few little more minor tournaments. Yeah.
So you sort of alluded to there how you got into fives. Was it a particular thing as you seen it and thought, I want to give that a go, or was it a friend that had been playing and got you involved, or how did that work?
A little bit. So the school I went to, I was fortunate we had 6 fives courts there, and they were quite central in the school, and in the first year of going there, we did a rotation of every sport the school had to offer, and my brother was a few years older and was already playing it as well, and did it for a term at school, really enjoyed it, and then played for the 7 years I was at school and really enjoyed it.
Brilliant. I have watched a few clips. It is fast and furious. The ball's coming at a fair rate of knots. We'll come on to that in a moment. Rules and regulations. How long does a game last, and what are the rules, and how does the point system work? I'm intrigued by this.
It depends slightly on which tournaments you're doing. Normally, all league matches and the major tournaments are all best of 5 sets. Normally, a set will go to 12 points, but there's certain rules. If it's 10 all or 11 all, it can be extended up to 15, depending on the circumstance. Depending on the obviously standard of the pairs playing, sometimes a match 3 sets could be done in 40 minutes, an hour easily. Personally, I've had one which has lasted over 3 hours before.
Really?
Up in the Midlands. That was a very serious, long evening, that one, playing that game, but it does really vary. So it's always a double sport. There's lots of versions of fives. The main one I play is Eton fives, and always doubles our version. And you only win a point when you're serving. So if you're what's known as the cutting pair, then your aim is to win the serve. And you have to hit it's similar to squash. We normally describe it as similar to squash, playing with your hands, playing as doubles. So you've got a line on the wall, well, a ledge, so it's slightly slanted. And you've got to hit above that ledge on the main front wall. And every time you win when you serve, you gain another point. And you have to do some weird sort of different rules when you get to 11 to make it even harder for you.
Right, okay.
But in general, both of you and your partner would always have a go at serving. And if you beat the serving pair, then you become the serving pair. And it just keeps on going until somebody eventually gets to 12.
Sounds intriguing. I know Eton Fives is 3 wars, isn't it?
Yes.
There are some games that you've covered 4 wars, I believe.
So Eton Fives, there's 3 main varieties of fives. So there's Eton, Rugby and Winchester. Eton Fives is probably the widest known one. And so this version is 3 walls, no back wall, so nothing behind you. There's Rugby Fives, which is 4 walls, which is pretty much a squash court, just slightly different. And then there's Winchester, which is sort of a combination of both. But the main sort of odd thing about Eton Fives is there's a bit sticking out of a left-hand wall, which is known as the buttress. And it all comes from the game being invented at Eton College originally where it was designed on the side of their chapel. And so the bit sticking out on the court was actually the handrail going into their chapel. And then the headmaster thought, this looks quite good, saw boys playing it, and then built lots and lots of courts at Eton, and then spread to Harrow, and then spread to lots more schools beyond that, and all around the country, to be honest. There's courts up in St Bees in Cumbria. There's schools in I've personally had the opportunity to play in Australia once. I've played in Switzerland a couple of times. A friend of mine went and played in Malaysia. So it has spread a little bit. It's not massive around the world at all, but there are courts scattered around as well.
And I get it. The Eton Fives, there's a step, isn't there?
Yes.
Does that apply in rugby in Winchester as
no,
well?
there's not.
That's
no,
just
personally, I've never actually played Winchester Fives. I've played Rugby Fives a few times. There's no step in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eton Fives has a step. So you have, in your pair, you normally have one person from your pair on the top step who tends to be the more attacking player, trying to volley as much as possible. Yeah. And then you have the back step partner, person in your pair, sort of as the person trying to set the top step player up for a volley by hitting it as low as possible, so that the opposition have to retrieve it from a lower position to set you up for a volley quite higher up.
Yeah, got that. Is there a little, so I understand, a little ledge that you try and hit as well, so the ball spins off or comes off at a different angle?
You're normally trying to avoid hitting the ledges as much as possible,
okay.
to be honest.
Yeah.
So the issue is if you hit one of the ledges, it will go quite high, and then that will give your opposition a volley.
Got you.
And the last thing you want is to give somebody a volley as much as possible. So as much as you do try and aim for the bit sticking out, the buttress on the left, as much as possible, because that will make it fire off in different directions or make it bounce in slightly different ways. But generally, you want to hit a little bit above the ledge in order to keep it low, but not low enough that it then pings off quite high.
Yeah, to make it easier for the opposition. I do get that. So you've mentioned, winning national leagues. Yeah. What is the structure like within Fives or the Eton Fives? Leagues? Is there national cups? What does it look like?
Yeah, so it varies all the way from there's the schools nationals every year. So the schools nationals vary on a tri-annual basis, and so all the way from the under-11 national championships all the way up to the Open, the under-18s, with boys and girls playing throughout the nationals. There's the main nationals week at the end of March, so that'll be coming up quite soon. And then once you leave school, there's university championships, and there is the National League as well. And there's 3 divisions of the National League. Mainly the clubs that play in it are old boys clubs or old pupils clubs. And so Division 1, mainly centred around London, but spreads a little bit further. And so 3 main leagues. Some schools enter the leagues as well to get additional practice for their pupils. And it goes normally from September to the end of March, the season. That's the league system, and normally there's a game about once a week. And then on the tournament side, there's 3 main tournaments a year. There's the Kinnaird Cup, which is always held at Eton. That's the big open one, and then that's a straight knockout from the first round. There's then the London tournament every year held at Harrow, which you start with group stages and then progress into the final. That's over a weekend. And then there's the Northern competition held up in Shrewsbury. And those are the big 3 ones where you get the ranking points, etc. from. And then there's lots of smaller tournaments happening throughout the year. The 4th biggest one normally is known as the Midlands one, up in Repton. And then there's lots throughout the year, whether it's the under-21 nationals, under-25s, more social ones, team competitions happen throughout the year, team knockout competitions. There's some competitions where you can only play for the school you went to. Right, so you have to make a team up of people who went to that school. And then there's other more, some really enjoyable, more informal tournaments where you can play just as a team of friends, a team from your club, whoever it is. But there's a really good one at Ipswich every year where it's a really good social tournament over a weekend. They're scattered around. It varies all the way from the more social tournaments to the really, really competitive ones. And the nice thing is, whenever you get knocked out in a tournament, the person who runs most of the tournaments, Gareth, he's brilliant at making sure that everyone goes into a sort of a follow-up plate competition in order to make sure if you enter the Kinnaird and get knocked out in round 1 because you come up against one of the top 8 seeds, for example, your weekend's not over. You manage to have lots of opportunities to keep playing throughout the weekend if you choose to.
I think that's a nice touch, isn't it? You mentioned about the league structure there. Is it like football? Is it sort of 2 up, 2 down, or is it how does it work?
It varies slightly. So it's not, if you win, let's say Division 2, you don't have to accept promotion because it is, because it's more of a informal, it's not professional, it's amateur sport. Yeah. We don't want to force anything like that. It is very much, if you know, for example, next season some maybe of your top school pupils or your university pupils might be moving away from London, you're not going to have a stronger team every week next year. So it's not right for you to accept promotion maybe, or as long as the idea of the league system and 3 divisions is there's a lot of trust involved of, are you in the right league for the team that you can put out? And quite a lot of the clubs that do play do have their first team in Division 1, maybe their second team in Division 2. And so there's a bit of internal adjustment of, okay, are you going to play for our first team this week or are you going to play for our second team? So there's a little bit of rules like that. But there is also some structure to make sure that the absolute top players, they can only play in Division 1, for example, to make sure it's still fair.
Yeah, it does sound a fair system, I have to say. Just from that, is there a national side?
There's not a national side as such, no. A couple of times in the past there have been national tours to different places around the world, but there's not a national side, no, because there's no, as much as there are courts around the world, there's not another country where there's enough going on, really. It is played quite widely in Nigeria, who have quite a lot, and there was an English tour that went out there a few decades ago, admittedly, and then myself and somebody else have been out to Australia. There's a competition in Zurich every year, so some people might go out and play there. There's some courts in France that people go out to regularly throughout the year as well, but there's not a national side in the same sense as most sports, no.
Is it as big? Is it biggest in the UK, or is it big? I suppose there's more.
It's absolutely biggest in the UK. Yeah, without a doubt. It's we do it. At my last job, I was master in charge of it at the school there, and it was fantastic when I went to the nationals. And occasionally, you had pupils from Malaysia actually flying over to play in the nationals, or Switzerland coming over. But it's absolutely biggest in the UK, yeah, and it's mainly centred around London, Oxfordshire, but it does spread quite widely as well. There's a tournament in Wales every year as well, for example, which is good fun.
Now you've brought in the glove and the ball, so I'm always interested in this part, you know.
Yeah. Well, let me give you that one. So that's the ball there.
So this is part rubber, part cork, as I understand.
Yeah. So the balls are made of mainly rubber and cork. They are quite solid, not as hard as a golf ball or anything like that. They're about the same size as a golf ball.
They're quite solid.
Yeah, they are when they're moving fast as well. You do get. So that's why you wear the padded leather gloves. And there you go. So you wear a pair of padded gloves on both hands. So one of the challenges when people are starting is, because obviously most people grow up being right-handed, left-handed, you have to sort of practice quite a lot to be able to hit the ball with both hands. So you don't really want to have a weaker side because someone might obviously attack that side. But you do get slightly different coloured balls occasionally. And what happens over a 5-set match or a tournament, the paint does wear off. So this is quite an old one to be fair, but the newer balls last a lot longer than this one. They are slowly developing newer paint. So an older one, a lot of the courts around the country are basically sort of brick colour. So by the time you get down to the bare cork, they sort of blend into the wall slightly. So you then, it's all very civilised. You then say to your opposition, are you happy if we get a new ball so we can see it better, etc. But you get yellow ones, orange ones, they do vary. But you definitely want to wear a pair of gloves if you're hitting the ball hard because it will bruise occasionally.
And you're not allowed to use the back of the hand in a way. That's not padded, is it?
No, so the back of the glove's not padded at all, and I don't use the back of your hand. Basically, it will hurt quite a lot because you haven't got any padding on the back of your hand with muscle anyway. So that's why. I'm personally right-handed, but that's why I've had to spend so much time practicing shots with my left hand, volleys with my left hand, and most of the game. Especially if you're playing on the top step, is centred around that bit sticking out. So you need to be very good with your left hand as well.
I was going to say, are the top C's right-handed or left-handed?
The majority are right-handed. There are some top players who are left-handed as well. One of the pairs I got to the final of the London tournament this year, I think they got to the final, maybe semis, but they were a pair of left-handers. If someone's left-handed, it does change the angle slightly when it's coming around the 3 walls, so you have to be used to it. But there's all these little technicalities, as in any sport. But you have to keep quite a good eye on where the ball's coming around different walls and making sure you're not obstructing your opponent, etc. And watching out for the natural hazards of the bit of concrete sticking out on the side and the step, of course. Yeah,
that's interesting, fascinating, and fascinating ball to use actually. And what sort of speeds are we talking about here? Do you know?
I don't know miles per hour, to be honest, no. But I can tell you, if you get hit by it, it does hurt. Because imagine,
You've had a few hospital.
I've had a couple of hospital trips from, unfortunately, getting hit by a ball.
I shouldn't laugh there.
No, I have to be fair. They have been quite funny, and they've happened in a couple of tournaments, unfortunately. But it all centres, if you're at school, for example, and all those games where you used to play with a tennis ball hitting against a wall, which people do all around the country, it's a similar sort of setting, just more kind of regulated in terms of rules. And so it is one where, if you imagine a tennis ball but bouncier and harder, coming fairly fast at you, it is quite fast. But you get used to it, you learn where to stand, you learn how to return it, of course, and brand new players might start with a slightly different ball until they build up, of course. Like squash, you start with different dots and build your way up.
It's fascinating. It's great learning about new sports on the show. I've learned so much about different sports, and again tonight, Andrew, that's fascinating insight into Eton Fives. You mentioned Summerfields is where you go and train on a Monday night. If somebody wants to get involved in this, how can they do it, or where can they go?
Oh, absolutely. So around the Oxfordshire area, so Oxford University do have their own set of courts and their own club nights, but the main one is, as you say, Summerfield School on a Monday evening, and that's the main one in Oxfordshire, absolutely. And so they play every Monday evening of the entire year, and depending when Summerfield School is in term time or not, the times vary slightly, but basically it's from about 8:15 all the way till 10 o'clock every Monday. And it's a really sociable club. Everybody's welcome. The standard varies quite significantly from people who have never played before all the way up to people who have been competing in the National League for years and years. And so the best way to have a look at local clubs is on it's run by the Eton Fives Association. So just Google Eton Fives, the main website comes up and then there's contact details. But the main individual is someone called Gareth Hoskins, and he's fantastic at getting people involved. He's fantastic at putting people in contact with who they need to. But he runs the Monday nights at Summerfields as well as being the national secretary and organising all the tournaments. But everybody is always welcome on a Monday night. We've got spare gloves, balls, people who will help coach you through it. Some university students come, and on that Monday night we'll have people varying from gap year students at Summerfield School all the way to people in 60s, 70s, just still keeping active, because there's not a huge amount of running involved. It's a nice game where it doesn't take a lot to be able to play it, and so everyone gets involved fairly quickly, and then of course you go up the levels as you play more, but we have huge varieties of standards on court, and it is very enjoyable. It is.
And I suppose I shouldn't say this, but it's, the equipment reasonably cheap to purchase. These gloves might be really expensive now I've said that. But
it does vary slightly, yeah. So there's no sort of particular rules about what sort of gloves you have to wear.
Okay.
It depends, again, what sort of standard, because some people do vary sort of how much padding and grip you have on the gloves, depending how much spin you want to get, and you get different thicknesses of the gloves, depending how much you want to be able to feel the ball, control it with different shots, etc. But in the simplest terms, you just need to be comfortable with a pair of padding in your gloves in order to be able to not hurt yourself. But there's one main supplier of the gloves around the country, but not super expensive, and the gloves do last quite a while. They're probably about, I haven't bought a new pair for a while, but probably about £40 for a pair of gloves. But as I said, I haven't bought one for a while, to be honest. They do last a long time, especially if you're...
They look really good.
Yeah, well, you also buy certain club branded ones now as well, so they do brand them slightly. But as much as, if you only play once a week like I do, or even less now, admittedly, they do last a long time, actually. When I was playing 3 to 5 times a week, admittedly I went through probably a pair or two a season, but
A couple of things just to finish on. We're talking off air about somebody who's looking to be do it at the highest level we possibly can, and training sort of 8 to 10 hours a week. Is there coaching involved in this? Are there coaches out there that can help you through this, or is it sort of self-taught?
It's a combination. The main coaching setup is absolutely still at schools and universities, but normally at the sort of club nights, lots of the clubs around London especially, and Oxfordshire, do have coaches or ex-coaches who still play for the club. So I did my level 2 coaching qualification a few years ago, and more than happy to always give sort of coaching tips when I'm playing in club nights, etc. A lot of the top players don't have coaches necessarily, but the amount they're practicing individual shots, doing all the video analysis that sports do these days, as well as playing so regularly in the National League and at the highest level. There's a few people around the country who, in little groups, who organise their own training evenings, competitive fixtures, and there's a few clubs which do nice little mini evening tournaments where you find the level you're at, and then you do the club nights, play against people better than you, slowly build up the practice, exactly, just like that. Yeah.
And if there's any youngster watching tonight, is there anything you would say to them about getting involved in fives? What advice would you give?
That's a good question. It's just like any sport. To be honest, I've always grown up being someone who just enjoys playing any sport, and one of the things I would always say is you don't have to just always do football because your friends are, or the sport all your friends are. Give it a go. Just give any sport a go, whether it is absolutely fives, giving that a go, and finding out where a local club is to give it a go. Equally, if you enjoy absolutely as a sort of break time play, hitting a tennis ball against the wall with your friends, there are serious competitive versions out there like fives, as well as other versions. But give all sports a go. Find the one that you really enjoy. And I don't mind if it's not fives, or I'm a hockey player as well. I don't mind if it's not hockey, but as long as everybody gets involved in sport, that's what I would really like.
Fantastic advice. Really fascinating insight there to Eton Fives. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Our thanks to Andrew. Thank you
brilliant.
very much.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate that. And yeah, really, really insightful. Learned a lot about a new sport. So, like I said earlier, if you want to get involved and have any sport that you want us to showcase or highlight on Sports Unleashed, do get in contact. Andrew's a great example of that, and giving us a great insight into a sport I didn't know much about. But it would be great to go and video some of the work and some of the games and interview some of the players actually. So
there's lots of videos on YouTube as well. So. Yeah,
have a look. Gareth
Hoskins is the main contact in the country.
And it's Eton
Fives Association. Yeah,
Google it.
And if you go on YouTube, Eton Fives videos, whether it's the Nationals, the Kinnaird, London, they're all quite often they are filmed and uploaded. So there's lots of videos out there. There's a few that I am in as well, but I don't advertise those too widely. But just give it an investigation. It is good fun to watch.
That is brilliant. Thank you again, Andrew. Much appreciated. So, like I say, get along if you're interested in that game. Have a look online as well, because it is an amazingly quick, fast and furious game. And it looks enjoyable, I have to say. So that takes us on to Colin actually caught up with Kidlington Football Club's secretary, talking about how it's difficult for football clubs to keep games on or get games on, and I've forgotten the names. It's Ian Middleton, isn't it? Liam Middleton from Kidlington, the secretary of Kidlington Football Club. We've got an interview with him now.
A lot of work from our ground team over the last 7 days since we had a game here last Saturday. A lot of persistence, especially around the goalmouth areas. We've been quite lucky so far this year. We've had a few games on, but we also had a few games off because of the pitch. But it literally has been manning the pitch every day. We've had at least 1 or 2 people down here, either putting sand on the pitch or maintenance of the pitch, getting rid of any holes or divots in the pitch. But it's a testament to them. They've been proceeding with it all week. We did have a bit of a heartbeat moment yesterday when we had that torrential downpour. We thought, oh no, but no, we're happy to get the game on. And from a club's point of view, every game gets called off. It means that the fixture congestions will then kick in. And then, like I say, being a local derby, we should get a good crowd, which means it's good for business.
So you've had your favourite friends are a pitchfork and a bucket of sand at the moment.
At the moment it is, and also I think the session with weather apps at the moment is just got a bit out of hand. I think I've got 3 apps now on my phone. Try and look at weather radar, weather. Yeah, it's quite ridiculous really. I haven't certainly been assessed with the weather, but yeah, it's been an exceptionally wet winter this one. I must admit, I thought we'd have like more frost, but no, it's just been rain after rain after rain.
Okay, so and how many people volunteered, of course, came out this morning to get the game on?
Yeah, we had 4 volunteers this morning. We had one of our volunteers do the lines, as you can see, make sure they're nice and sharp for today's game. Also make sure they're ready for tomorrow's ladies' game, which is scheduled to take place here. We've got our groundsman who's doing the final sweep of the pitch. On match day, there isn't much more we can do. It's always the day before that. We're trying to get the pitch 100% ready. We've avoided training here to keep the pitch at rest. We got a bit lucky with the fixtures. Only one fixture in the last 10 days has been here, so it's had plenty of time to rest and recover between the games.
And we're chatting off camera about the fact that you might be getting a 3G pitch. How much of a difference would that make to Kidlington Football Club?
I'll make a huge difference if we were lucky enough to get one of them 3G pitches. From a club's point of view, we have more games on. Not just more games on, but we can have more teams playing here. We can have like double, triple headers on Saturday mornings. You can have the kids playing here Saturday morning. Then in the afternoon, you can have, like I said, the senior men's team playing here. Then even Saturday evening, you can have a game here. So it just gives us an opportunity for the whole community. Would give it a great option. Just get games on. We can help other clubs out even locally who are struggling to get games on. Get them here, get them down here. Playing on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning. Yeah, it would be a great benefit if we can get one, of course. But that's down to the powers that be, as they say.
Indeed, and you may well, in a few years' time, have very noisy neighbours. Would that have a good impact or a negative impact, do you think, on Kidlington Football Club?
We like to think it'd be a good. We want to welcome you into Kidlington from a bar revenue side. I'll be honest with you, it should be good. We've got the big, as you can probably see, we've got a big car park, so we can invite away sides here with their coaches, hopefully. Also home fans as well, because we've got multiple rooms in our facility. And also with the combined counters, it can be quite flexible with fixtures. So we can either try and have it, we're away, we're not sure at home, or we can play a Friday night to free up the, to try and maybe look into both games. But no, we're looking forward to it. It's an investment in the local area. I know there's been a lot of hoo-ha over it. People want it, people don't. Once again, as I said, unfortunately, we don't control that. That's down to people in a lot of high positions to make their decisions.
Our thanks there to Liam Middleton from Kidlington Football Club. Good interview. Nice to catch up with Kidlington.
It is indeed, and I've got some more news as well, because we did, in that interview, he talks about the fact that they might have some noisy neighbours soon, Oxford United, and of course this is the week where they got the final hurdle, the Section 106 money has been agreed, so they will have noisy neighbours, and he thinks that could have a positive impact in Kidlington, so football club there. They've also got an announcement here on the website. I'm going to read from my little phone here. It says that they have a new initiative here, proud to announce a landmark strategic partnership with Kidlington Youth Football Club, Garden City Football Club. This collaboration will see the official launch of a new Allied Counties youth team for the 26-27 season. This is going to have a pathway for all the kids, to actually get into, I suppose, other clubs and enjoy their football. Also coaching as well. So again, it's another illustration of grassroots sport, trying to have an impact on the community. What we said with the Fives interview, get involved in sport, right? Get them out of the bedrooms and PlayStations, right? We probably still struggling a bit with COVID, aren't we, in this situation there? And actually get out and play some sport. And any initiative like this in a grassroots club, locally, so parents don't have to travel too far to it, is fantastic. So well done to Kidlington Football Club and this initiative they've actually got there, with, I think, 3 different teams all coming together to have a pathway. And we've seen with the cricket pathway, it's so good. We'll go on to have a chat about that later on, won't we? So, right, nice one there. So, and I like the fact that, just off air, the Fives interview, thanks again for that one, fantastic new sport we've actually found there. There's no referee in Fives, unless it gets to fisticuffs, and someone has to then come out and like a best man at a wedding, and say, "Hang on, lads, just it's only a game, okay?" And of course, no VAR either.
No VAR.
It's So if only football was that honest.
Yes, it'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, one should live in hope. Shouldn't one?
Yes.
Indeed. Back to you, Woodsy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think have Tottenham just scored, Patrick? Patrick's a very happy man.
Oh,
Tottenham
God.
just scored
It won't
against,
last. It's the hope that kills you, Patrick. Remember that.
He's not paying attention
No,
at
he's
all.
not.
No, he's just
No,
watching
I know,
the screen
yeah,
there.
yeah. Pull the
It
plug in a
takes
minute.
us on to the midweek football games around our region, and some of the scores that I can give you, or we can give you now.
Yeah.
The first one is Banbury United 1-0 victors at Harbour Town.
Yeah, Tame United, they had a whomping at the weekend, but they come back and won 4-2 at home to Hertford Town. Okay, so and finally, Ardley got another game.
They did get a game.
Again away, so they've had a few recently. So narrow one, they just bagged a point though, but so they have, I think, still 5 or 6 games in hand. So if they keep on bagging points, okay, so winning their home games and picking up points away, that looks good for the future.
Yeah, Milton United were unfortunately on the wrong end of a 2-1 loss against Reading City. Good news for North Lee, was it?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they got a point. Yeah, the poor old North Lee. I think we reported a couple of weeks back that as if they haven't got enough problems with getting games on with waterlogged pitches, a spring appeared in the 6-yard area. So as a result, they had a really great big trench and a pit. So hopefully they managed to get that sorted out. Okay, so and we've heard recently the Thames Water have cut your water off.
I have no water.
Ensham's suffering too, I think. So if you want to know where it is, just west of the Swinford Toll Bridge, there's a big hole developed.
I think we could do a bit of Delboy, couldn't we?
We
some
could
spring.
do,
No, it wouldn't be Peckham Spring, would it?
Peckham Spring water, yeah. Well, they did do it's a great thing on social media a couple of weeks back with North Lee spring water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every little helps, mate.
Yeah,
doesn't
absolutely.
It? Absolutely, yes.
Going on to Kidlington again,
Yes.
they unfortunately went out of the Cup this week. They drew 1 each, but they went out 4-2 on penalties.
I suspect they'll be concentrating on the league now.
Yeah, I think so. And leaves the only last result from the week, midweek I should say, Carterton losing to Stonehouse Town 4-2. So, round ball to Chinner's exploits again.
Ball. Yeah, indeed. So they've had a little bit of blip recently, but we have, I think we've got some courtesy of Clubber TV, haven't we? So highlights from their recent game, London Scottish versus Chinner.
Izzy Wharton of Chinner throws himself behind that to make the tackle, and now Scottish looking to counter here with the overlap on the left-hand side, and it's definitely on for them. Ships back in field to Leslie, and now they can continue. Kalade able to claim it. Clayton, a little grubber from the hooker, and then it's Wilkinson that goes after it. He hacks it forwards as well. Wilstead somehow there. Scottish into the 22. Wilstead breaking through. The tackle's coming in from Sam Hanks. London Scottish just a couple of metres from the line. And over they go. A second try for London Scottish. And just like the first, coming from absolutely nothing, Gregor. Winning the scrum and then reversing the direction of play. Plenty of space for Leslie to run into with 2 in support. Well-timed pass. And then Kalade onto Hyde. Hyde arcs back in Law. What a line by the scrum half. Cutting back to the outside, he carves his way back in, and a third try for London Scottish in the first quarter of the match. They are loving this match so far. Robinson now has to start rucking, but it's stolen by Scottish, and Hyde down his left wing. It is a foot race to the corner, and it's Hayden Hyde who will win it for London Scottish. To have seen Kieran Goss find his way over the line as time ticks away in this first half. Still 0 on the scoreboard next to their name. Carter feeds the scrum, not moving from either side, now starts to rise up in the middle. The arm points towards Chinner for the advantage as Wharton tries to come away with it. And now the drive from Kai Owen over the line. The loose head prop from Chinner. The door here. Pick and go to the left. Scottish still holding out. Low bodies from Chinner as they look towards the line. Arm up. And Maxwell Keys.
You can see him barrowing over under the post from here, can't you?
I would not want to be Fraser Honey in the fly half position for Scottish. being lined up by Wharton. There he goes, bump. Honey does well, however, but it is only going to hold Chinner out for a matter of seconds. It's 22 as the minutes tick by, and there it goes towards the touchline. Jake Murray sends it over, and the whistle sounds out around the rag from Craig Maxwell Keys. A famous win for London Scottish, 24 points to 21. Weren't able to come away with the spoils, but they have now won 4 of their last 5 at the ground.
So Chinner lost in the end, but they did come back. We just sort of ran out of minutes, I think, to get their 24-21 was the final score. It was a close game. And we are live from Oxford Downs Cricket Club on a Thursday evening, and our producer behind the mixing desk tonight is a Tottenham fan. Crystal Palace have just equalised. He's just said to us that Tottenham are also now down to 10 men. And I said, have they just sold a player? Because if they go down, it's going to cost them £250,000. So, I mean, I think he's been sent off.
He's been sent off.
Yeah, he's been sent off, as opposed to sold. Yeah. But you never know, do you?
You never know.
Strange things have happened.
You never know.
What's going next, Woodsy?
Well, I'll tell you what's going up next is something you can't get anywhere else in the county, and that's our full football results service this week. What was it? K-Dog, Lapdog and Frog Dog. His laptop didn't work this week, so he couldn't provide the results. So we had to ask our intrepid producer, Patrick Lock, to put together this sequence of results from last weekend's football. Thanks there to Patrick Lock and Wes Spearman for that results service, something you don't get anywhere else in Oxfordshire. So, one reason to stay tuned to this programme. That will take us on, won't it, Colin, to our normal waffle of the league tables.
Yeah. So this is how the situation is, I think, as of Thursday, 5th of March. Right. So Oxford United is still in the relegation zone. All that West Brom win has given them a little bit of hope. Okay, so of course West Brom were managerless when they took them on the weekend. I have said on the podcast that the 6 minutes of additional time was some of the longest 6 minutes of my life, actually, especially when they took it to the corner flag with 3 minutes to go. But there they are. Still a bit of hope on the week that they got the Section 106 money sorted out finally, with the new stadium looking more likely than ever. They are still clinging on by the fingertips in the Championship.
That takes us on to the National League North, and Oxford City out of the relegation zone, and that's good stuff. Good win at the weekend. Obviously, the sides below them have got games in hand, but if they continue their winning ways, hopefully they can stay in that 20th or above, because they're not too far away from sides above them. So keep our fingers crossed for Oxford City.
Banbury United, they've had trouble getting games on home and away, but look, they are 10th in a strong position, and it is the manager's first season still in the dugout, and he's doing pretty well there with Banbury United.
A couple of games in hand could take them into the playoff positions, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And in the Southern Football League Division 1 Central, Tame United, they're just sitting outside the playoff positions in 6th with 57 points.
Didcot Town, they've had some up and down results, okay, but they've pulled them round recently again. They're currently in 12th on 39 points.
And the Cherry Red Records Combined Counties Football League Premier Division North, still haven't got that wrong.
No, you are reading it, though.
Oh, I am reading it. Oh, that's why I'm not getting it wrong. That's cool. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wallingford and Crowmarsh are leading our sides in that at the moment. In 31 played with 53 points on the board. Ardley United sitting pretty in 6th with 26 games. Those games in hand, 50 points. Yeah, they've got a good chance of catching up Burnham and Kidlington just below them on the same number of points, 4 extra games, and Milton United in 9th on 44 points.
It's a great league, isn't it?
It's a great league.
It's interesting because they are really trying to get our games on, and if you heard the Arlington chairman talk a couple of weeks back about the fact that this fixture congestion means they probably will end up playing Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday for a couple of weeks after the to get the season sorted out. But yeah, interesting league, that one to keep an eye on.
And in the lower regions of that league, Abingdon United in 14th position on 33 points, and North League dropped back down into those relegation slots on 19 points after 27 played.
But you look, Holyport have played more games than them, so there's still slight hope. If they can get games on and start to put points on the board, they're still clinging on there. And we're not just saying that league because it means they've got quite a lot of local derbies, so that's quite a good one to be in.
GCE Hirefleet United Counties League Premier South, Easington Sports in 16th position on 24 points. I think they should be okay. They'll win a couple of games though.
Yeah, and then we go to Oxford Division 1 and Wantage Town. Again, they had a bit of a blip when I went to see them. I'm glad that they are found their form back again. FC Stratford, though, have played 25. They've got 2 games in hand over Wantage Town, but Wantage Town are still there, okay, or thereabouts. I did watch FC Stratford. They are a very, very strong side, I have to say. So let's hope Wantage Town can stay in the playoff positions and cement their promotion to the next level.
And in Division 1, there's Carterton in 13th position, 27 points after 23 games. And our 2 sides there, Clanfield 85 and Tame United Reserves in 17th and 18th position, respectively.
And into the Women's National League, Oxford United ladies, currently 4th on 29 points.
And in Division 1 Southwest, Abbey United in 6th position on 20 points.
And the Premier South, Oxfordshire City, are currently 8th there on 15 points.
And that's the league tables as of tonight, actually. So we wish all our sides the very best of luck for the weekend's games. Hopefully they can bring some more points to their sides. Hopefully have some good news next week on some of them.
Yeah, indeed.
You never know. That takes us to where you can actually watch your local teams for this weekend as we dive into fixture focus with Lock and Ryde, or as I like to call them, Lennon and McCartney.
Oh, I'll take that.
Do you like that
Yeah.
one?
Where will you be watching your football this week, and give us your fixture focus the coming weekend?
Yeah, well, we actually started a day early this week. On Friday night, Oxford United are in championship action away at Preston North End. So that's an 8 p.m. kickoff then. But for your Saturday needs, Oxford City have a home game, so I won't be travelling far this weekend, Colin. They entertain Scarborough Athletic at Court Place Farm, and that's a 3 p.m. kickoff. And we mentioned in the podcast main show that the two big wins for Oxford United and Oxford City last weekend, and I mean they don't get any smaller, do they, at this stage of the season? So yeah, both will be needing a win again, won't they, Colin? I think
so, and I think so. There was 6 minutes of additional time on Saturday at the Oxford United game, and that's probably the longest 6 minutes of my life. I was getting very overexcited, I have to say, on my commentary. So, but yeah, it's still time though. I think the Bloomfield, the Oxford United manager, he did almost got Luton to stay up last season, so maybe there'll be a late charge. Well, it makes it interesting though, doesn't it, Patrick?
Interesting, maybe not in a good way sometimes, but I mean, if you just need to get a run of games together and you get wins together and you get a bit of confidence, and then who knows? So, yeah, very important game, and even for City, even against the Scarborough side who are kind of fighting for the playoffs. So, but who knows? I mean, it's one of those where you sometimes perform better against the top teams, but City versus Scarborough games have kind of always been a bit cagey in the past few years. So who knows? But also tight. So maybe get a win if need one. But well,
what else have got to look forward to this weekend then?
Yeah. So Banbury United, they host Oxfordshire in Southern League Premier Central. Tame United, they travel not too far. They're at Milton Keynes Irish in Division 1 Central. Didcot Town travel to Willand Rovers in Division 1 South. And then on Sunday, you got Oxford United ladies host Rail Bedford in Women's National League South. Abingdon United women host Bristol Rovers at the North Court, and Oxford City are on the road. They head straight down to the bottom of the A34 as they face Winchester City Flyers in the Southern Region Women's Football League Premier. So that is what is coming up this coming weekend.
All right, and before we sign off, just to mention the fact that former Oxford United striker Matty Taylor, a local lad, I think so, has come back to Oxford City to play. He's played 2 games so far. Have you actually seen him play so far, Patrick? And what contributions does he make?
Yeah, he's come off the bench twice, so he's come on for about 15, 20 minutes. So, I mean, admittedly not had probably the longest time to make an impact, but he has made a noticeable impact, kind of getting his body in, making a nuisance of himself, and yeah, being there, and that kind of experience that you need sometimes in a situation like this. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably hard to get in at the moment because Josh Parker's found some form and everything. So you may be off the bench a little bit, but yeah, he certainly made a difference so far, I think, even in his short cameos.
I know we've still got Alfie Potter as well, who's evergreen and still making a big contribution down there too.
Trying to bring that Oxford United band back together, I think, in slightly different colours.
Right, yeah. No, it's good stuff. I mean, they've always had the, Steve Basham has been quite a throughput of senior players who spent their sort of transition years, I suppose, to coaching whatever comes next after football down at City.
Well, when I first started watching City, there was Steve Basham, Chris Wilmot, Jamie Cook. So half the team was kind of ex-Oxford United. So, yeah. I mean, when you've had a a long association with the city, it's probably quite nice to go and play nearby a non-league club, because you probably know that if you're a bit of a cult hero, you probably get some followers that will come and watch you at the non-league stage, won't they? So, especially if they live locally as well, it's a lot easier if that you've got a 10-minute drive to training every day.
It is indeed. So I think that that's yet another advert for non-league football. Do please support your local club. And for the time being, though, thanks for listening. Thanks to Patrick Lock. I'm Colin Ryde. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.
Well, thanks to John and Paul there, Lock and Ryde. That was a hard day's night, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, blimey. Okay. So they're all coming out now, aren't they?
Sorry, these dad jokes. I really must stop doing that. Move swiftly on.
Move swiftly on,
move
mate.
Swiftly on. To actually the VKO, the Village Knockout.
Wow.
Fixtures came out this week. We've got all the fixtures for you here, so we'll go through these bit by bit. We start with Tiddington at home against Aston Rowan. That'll be an interesting game. That'll be closely fought, I think.
Almost like a local derby, that, isn't
it? Yeah, it's close, yeah. And the Boldens will be facing Great and Little Chew.
Hawley versus Sanford Martin, and Cumnor versus Horsepath. So these are good clubs, aren't they? Good local clubs.
There's some local derbies again there, actually, which is really interesting. And then we got Oxford and Bletchington Nondescripts, one of my old clubs actually, playing Cropredy, and Kingston Bagpies playing Shipton under Wychwood. These are good fixtures.
Yeah, then Stanton Harcourt versus Oxford Downs. Woo-hoo! I know, that'll be away though, starting off then. Minster Lovell, another one of our team that is involved in Minster Lovell, and Langford.
That'll be a close game, closely fought game. Blake's Challow and Children. I don't think it's just Blake's Challow and Children.
There are other people there.
They've got a hard game there against Walgrave, but Walgrave won't be able to play some of their pros in that game, obviously. So that could be quite an interesting fixture. And then Morton are playing Cheveley.
Goring-on-Thames versus Embrook and Bearwood, and White Wharton or Peppard Stoke Road versus
Easy for
Uffington.
you to say.
Well, it wasn't really, was it? No. Shall I say that again? White Wharton or Peppard Stoke Road. Got it right that time.
That's very good.
Thank
you. Not easy to say.
No.
So they are the National Village Cup fixtures for 2026.
The final is at Lords, isn't it?
Finals at
yeah,
Lords.
It's
a prestigious competition. It's one that we used to take very seriously at Oxford Downs. Because we've got into the Home Counties Premier League, it's made life a little bit difficult to put out a side, because you can't play in the Village Knockout if you're playing in that team.
Right.
So it's very much a second and third 11 that we put out in that competition. But it's a great day here when we get a home fixture and it's a sunny day. You sometimes can have 200, 300, 400 people here watching. It's a real occasion. So
the thing is that the
nice.
evenings are getting lighter.
Yeah,
the odd bit of sun coming out.
Feels like spring, doesn't it?
I actually walked on Port Meadow today, so and the floodwaters have gone. So there's hope for completing the football season yet and getting the cricket season underway. But mind you, normally I'm sat at Hampshire with the first county games in my full football commentating gear. Okay, we think we might even take a blanket this year too.
Is it a sheepskin coat?
Yeah, no, not a sheepskin coat, no, but a down coat. Not an Oxford down coat, a feather down coat. There you go.
We'll stick on the cricket front. James Coles was obviously in the UAE with the England Lions, which that tour obviously curtailed by things that are happening.
Mr. Trump.
So he is back on UK soil, we're pleased to inform everyone, as is everybody from that tour. So we wish... it's a shame because Colesy was doing quite well in that tour, but it's absolutely essential that they came back and everybody's safe and sound. So we hope everybody's well and returned home safely. And another sport that we've featured on Oxsports Unleashed in the past, and we had their head coach on recently, is the Oxford Saints, the American football, at Tilsley Park. And you can see there training has started already for the 2026 season. But the training is still available on a Sunday from 1:45 till 4 o'clock. That is at Tilsley Park in Abingdon, and get across. You can see they've already had the joint training and also some friendly. I can't now read because it's not on the screen, but I'm sure they've got. Oh, there it is. Look, you can't get the staff, can you? You can't get the staff.
No, generally
friendly
you can't
game versus the Plymouth Argyle Vanguard there. That's on the 6th of March, and that is tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what. Again, it just showcases the amount of sport that's there. So going back to the earlier interview, the fact is that if you want to get into sport, just try something, right? Get out there and do it, right? Just get out there and try it, so because most clubs will welcome you, yes, and actually be very keen to actually show you the ropes. So try it.
Fascinating American football. Oxford Saints, we wish them very best for the season because, and if you're looking to go into that sport, get along to Tilsley Park on a Sunday between those times again, 1:45 to 4 o'clock, because they will be very pleased to see you and start your American football journey. It'd be great. I think that just about wraps it up. We're almost on the hour tonight.
I think so, yeah.
We've done that tonight very well. Our big thanks to our studio guest, Andrew Rennie, and talking us through Eton Fives. That was extraordinary. Thoroughly enjoyed that interview. Great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, another sport, another new one to tick off. Yeah, fantastic stuff.
So that just leaves me to say, if you have got any sport you want us to showcase, and if you want to get involved as a producer, an interviewer, sorry, Patrick's going, I'm doing it all. Why would we need anybody else?
Yeah.
It would be good if we had other people to help us out because we are stretched at times and it is difficult to get all the material out onto the show. So if you know of anybody who wants to get involved, producing, editing, whatever it might be, please get in contact with us at that email address again, oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. It's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And that wraps it up for this week. Our thanks to everybody for their contributions tonight. And we look forward to seeing you, not next week live, but we will have something for you Thursday night. So please stay tuned for that. And we'll be live again back here on the 19th of March. I won't be, actually. I'm not here on that day, but there will be another presenter in this chair. So for now, we'll come back on the 19th and we'll unleash some more sports. We'll see you then.
Bye for now.